They planned a routine hike through well-known mountain trails, a journey they had made many times before. Instead of reaching their destination, they vanished without warning. When their bodies were finally discovered days later, investigators realized they were not victims of an accident, but of a calculated execution that has never been fully explained. Anna Kembrowska was 22 years old and a third-year student of environmental protection at the University of Environmental and Life Sciences in Poland. Robert Odżga was 25 and had recently completed his fourth year in geodesy and cartography at the same university. Both were focused on their studies and shared a strong interest in nature and outdoor activity. Their relationship was closely tied to the mountains. Hiking was not an occasional hobby, but a regular part of their lives, and nearly every holiday they shared involved traveling on foot through mountain trails. They carefully planned their trips and chose well-known routes, treating hiking as both recreation and study. The summer of 1997 held particular importance for them. During that time, they spent part of the season exploring Missouri together, a trip that remained especially meaningful in later accounts. In August of that year, Anna traveled to Mierzylesie, the town where Robert lived. From there, they prepared for their next planned journey, a hike leading to a scientific camp in Carlo. Anna was not only a participant, but also the organizer of the camp, a role that required preparation, coordination, and punctual arrival. Their plans were structured and deliberate, reflecting experience rather than spontaneity. At this stage, nothing about the journey appeared unusual. At launch, in August 1997, Anna Kembrowska traveled to Mierzylesie, the town where Robert Odżga lived. From there, the couple prepared to attend a scientific camp scheduled to begin on August 18th in Carlo. Rather than traveling directly to the site, they chose to leave 3 days early and reach the camp on foot, allowing time for a planned mountain hike. Their route followed marked mountain trails leading through the Stalo Mountains toward the peak known as Narożnik. The area was characterized by sandstone formations, steep rock walls, forested paths, and wide viewpoints overlooking surrounding valleys. These trails were well known and commonly used by hikers exploring the region, and the couple selected them intentionally. The decision to hike was consistent with their past travel habits. Mountain trips were a regular part of their lives, and they approached such journeys with preparation and attention to detail. Equipment, timing, and route selection were considered in advance. Anna's responsibilities as the organizer of the scientific camp added further importance to careful planning, as her presence at the camp was expected by others. Nothing in the arrangements suggested uncertainty or risk beyond what was typical for experienced hikers. The journey was intended to combine travel with recreation, following established paths toward a scheduled destination. At the time of departure, the plan appeared routine, structured, and fully accounted for. No deviations were anticipated by anyone involved. On August 17, 1997, Anna Kembrowska made a phone call to her parents from a public telephone booth at approximately 10 in the morning. During the call, she told them that she and Robert Odżga were setting off immediately toward Carlo. She explained that they expected to reach their destination in roughly 4 hours, following the planned hiking route. This conversation became the last confirmed contact Anna had with her family. After the call ended, no further communication was received from either Anna or Robert. At that point, there was no cause for concern, as their travel plans were known and their arrival was expected later that day. Approximately 2 hours after the phone call, Anna and Robert were seen together in a small village bar located along their hiking route. The sighting was brief and did not indicate any distress or deviation from their plans. They were observed during daylight hours, continuing along the same general direction toward the mountains. This encounter marked the final confirmed sighting of the couple. No additional witnesses reported seeing them after that moment. From this point forward, their movements could only be estimated based on planned routes and later investigative findings. The events of that day established the final verified timeline before Anna Kembrowska and Robert Odżga disappeared. No confirmed details emerged afterward. Instruction. When Anna Kembrowska and Robert Odżga failed to arrive at the scientific camp in Carlo as scheduled, concern began to spread among the other participants. The camp was set to begin on August 18th, and Anna's absence was immediately noticeable because she was responsible for organizing the event. As hours passed without any sign of the couple, unease replaced initial assumptions of a minor delay. Friends attending the scientific camp attempted to confirm the whereabouts of Anna Kembrowska and Robert Odżga, but were unable to reach either of them. Given the clear travel plan, the known hiking route, and the expected arrival time, their continued absence quickly became a source of concern. As hours passed with no contact, fellow participants contacted Robert's parents in Mead-Zillice to inform them that the couple had not arrived and could not be reached. Shortly afterward, authorities were alerted. The police were contacted, and the Mountain Volunteer Search and Rescue Organization, known as GOPR, initiated search operations in the Stalo Mountains. Rescue teams were deployed along marked hiking trails, surrounding forested areas and nearby viewpoints. Tracking dogs were brought in to assist in locating any trace of the missing hikers. The search continued over several days and covered challenging terrain, including rocky slopes, dense woodland, and elevated paths. Despite coordinated and methodical efforts by trained rescuers and police officers, no confirmed sightings, personal belongings, or signs of the couple were found during the early stages. With each passing day, the likelihood of a routine delay diminished, and concerns grew that something more serious had occurred. On August 27, 1997, search teams discovered the bodies of Anna Kembrowska and Robert Odżga several meters below a peak known as the Corner. They were found lying roughly 10 meters apart on steep terrain, away from the marked trail they had planned to follow. The remains were badly decomposed, a condition intensified by high summer temperatures reaching around 30 degrees Celsius. Investigators determined that the deaths had occurred days earlier, during the period when the couple was missing. Both victims were found without shoes, and parts of their clothing had been removed. Their backpacks were not initially present at the scene, and several personal items were missing, including passports, watches, and Anna's Zenit TTL camera. Although the scene initially suggested robbery or sexual assault, investigators ruled out both motives, concluding that the area had been deliberately altered. The backpacks were later recovered nearby, but no usable forensic evidence was found. Autopsies revealed execution-style killings. Robert had been shot twice in the head, while Anna was killed by a single gunshot to the forehead. Ballistic analysis showed the weapon originated from Czechoslovakia and was a model discontinued after the Second World War. With limited physical evidence, witness testimony became crucial. Several individuals reported hearing gunshots and screams around midday, helping investigators establish the approximate timeline of the murders. Despite examining multiple leads, authorities were unable to identify a suspect. Christoph Golick, later convicted of multiple murders in 2001, was initially considered as a possible suspect. This connection was later disproven. Another major theory involved neo-Nazi groups conducting survival training near Nike in August 1997. Witnesses reported armed participants carrying weapons similar to those believed used in the killings. Despite these leads, investigators found no evidence to support charges. In 2003, police made a renewed attempt to identify individuals who had participated in the neo-Nazi survival training held near Nike in August 1997. The effort focused on locating former attendees and revisiting earlier witness statements. This work was abruptly halted when the head of the criminal division received an order to close the investigation, leaving the case unresolved once again. Years later, the case was reopened by Krakow's X-Files unit in 2020. In July of that year, authorities in Kłodzko detained 2 men during a drug trafficking investigation and seized 39 firearms and large quantities of ammunition. Police suggested that the weapon used in the student murders might have been among those recovered, though this was never officially confirmed. In April 2022, an unrelated homicide investigation led to the discovery of Anna's missing Zenit TTL camera and photographs of the victims' bodies at another property. While significant, the finding did not conclusively identify a perpetrator. Memorials honoring Anna and Robert were established, yet the murders unsolved.